Hi everyone, Kashia here from Politely Rebellious. We really enjoyed recording series 1 and I wanted to just say hi and welcome to series 2 of the Being Politely Rebellious in Pompey video podcast. We have if it's even possible to say, we have another incredible lineup of individuals who are coming on to cement our stories in history, letting us in on their politely rebellious journeys that they've had throughout their lives and careers. As I mentioned on series 1, one of the really important things that we want to generate here is inspiration, inspiring others as to what you can achieve when you put your mind to it and you punch your way past the obstacles that can often be set out before us. So please enjoy series 2 as you have done series 1. Please remember to like, subscribe and share. Without that happening, we can't be here. So, like, subscribe and share. Enjoy the series.
I like doing big for my city. I like achieving things because Portsmouth is a small city in the world, and
it really is. Everyone knows everyone, right?
I went to America. They all knew about Portsmouth.
Yeah.
They was all asking about Portsmouth. So that makes me proud. Like the successes I've had for this small city is.
And you always stop boxing.
My
right?
life is politely rebellious, isn't it?
Exactly.
Like, over the years, like imagine all these like, young lads that are getting into fights, and even boxers are getting into. What's the point of fighting? Like for free. Looking back, I think I exceeded everyone's expectations in me, and I did very, very well in the fight. I don't think I can be proud of losing, but I can be proud of
the attitude.
What I did, the attitude, and how I kind of showed myself off to the world. That's it, yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome to Being Politely Rebellious in Pompey, and we are here for series 2, Living Our Best Lives, episode 1. Michael McKinson, absolute legend, boxing champion, and on his way to bring as many belts back to Pompey, or here to Pompey probably for the first time, a lot of them. How are you doing, alright?
I'm doing good, I'm very well. Bit of a slow start to the year, but things are coming together now, and yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
No, I appreciate it. How does life look when you say things are quite quiet for you? I imagine that's still like training and gymming it every day. Yeah,
it's my job, so essentially I'm one of the few lucky ones to be a full-time professional boxer, which means stay healthy, stay in the gym all year round, which is great.
It's your way of life.
But it's tough, you know, when there's no fights ahead or fights penciled in, very, very tough to stay motivated, to stay on it and stay on the ball. So like I said, it's been a slow first half of the year, but it's looking like the last half is going to be a lot better. Back into a routine. To be fair, I've been training for a fight since May, and it's just kind of keeps getting moved back. So it's been annoying, but
and I suppose you have to keep on top of your game, right? And on top of the fitness side and everything, because that could change at any minute.
Of course.
So you could get that phone call where a fight's been organised. And if you've been out of the loop, then
I've had 3 dates so far that's just keeps getting shifted back.
Same person?
Kind of, they're trying to get the same opponent and stuff, it's just a matter of dates and stuff.
So it's not because they're scared?
No. But to be fair, there's been a lot of times over the years where it's been quite difficult to match me. Because I've got kind of a horrible style to box against and an annoying style. So
people do get scared?
Yeah. I would say so.
I'm saying that's the real tea.
I'm very avoided. I'm definitely the most avoided fighter in the UK at my weight class.
Really?
Yeah. Which it's kind of been bittersweet over the years.
Is that where the nickname The Problem comes from?
It doesn't actually, but it's well fitted.
It suits the story.
So the problem, obviously, people that know me, people in Portsmouth that know, you obviously know my dad. He's a boxing coach, and so a professional trainer and manager, my trainer and manager. But when I was younger, he obviously had a group of pro fighters, and I used to go and spar and train with the pros a few days a week. And
when you were young,
when
like
I was
teenager?
14, 15, I started sparring the pros, and I was a baby, and I was sparring hard men.
Grown men, yeah.
So I had to kind of adapt a style of being awkward and being slick and not getting hit really. And
that's the main aim, right?
Yeah, I remember my dad and the pros at the time, they used to just be like, he's a problem in the box, and that's how I adapted the awkward style.
So they were saying it, he's a problem in a good way?
Yeah, in a good way. I'm a problem inside the boxing gym, not a problem
outside.
No,
I
I'm
love
a good boy.
that. That's what we want to be aiming towards, people. Is being a problem in being a disruptor in the the industry or the sector that you work in.
Yeah,
be a disruptor inside of that, not outside.
That's it. And I was a problem for years, but I didn't adapt the nickname until I turned professional.
Right. Okay.
I turned professional, Mikey the Problem, and
and then that stuck, and that's how it is. Yeah. When was it that you went professional? What age were you?
I started the because obviously I was training with the pros from young.
Yeah.
So I started the transition when I was like 18, 19, and I ended up finally having my first professional fight at 20.
That's wrong, isn't it?
We're 10 years deep now.
Wow.
We're 10 years deep. I'm
27 fights?
27 fights.
26 wins?
That's it, yeah.
That's mental, isn't it? And 4 knockouts.
Yeah, and to be fair, 2 of my 4 knockouts have come in my last 3 fights. So,
really?
Yeah.
Wow. And do you think that's because of the experience and the dedication that you've put into the sport?
Yeah, it's been a long road, a long journey. Like people say, I'm only 30. Oh, he's a young lad. He's still a young lad. I'm old, really. In my sport,
in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. In my sport, I'm old. But I've kind of. It's been a long journey, and the knockouts have only just started coming because on my way up, I'm a very good boxer. I've got a very good boxing brain and good IQ, great defence. So I kind of was winning fights because I didn't have to get out of first, second gear.
Right.
So I used to cruise points wins, and not actually go for it because I didn't need to.
Yeah.
And then got all the way to fighting my one defeat out in Texas 2 years ago. Lost that, unfortunately,
and you were knocked out in that one?
Yeah, well, I wasn't knocked out, so it was a TKO loss.
Yeah.
But in the fight, I was 9-1 underdog.
Yeah.
Went to Texas, fought a guy with 19 wins, 19 knockouts, 0 losses. He was the most talked about fighter in my weight division. And no one thought I would last more than 3 rounds, and I was winning rounds against him. I cut him, I won a few rounds, and if anyone thought I was going to get stopped, if anyone told me I was going to get stopped, I would have said they're lying because my chin was great. Unfortunately, I got a hip injury in round 8. Went back to the corner, I was in so much pain I couldn't put weight on my right side. I couldn't throw my right side after it. My dad was going to pull me out after round 8 and out inside the corner. And
Is that when they kind of say to you, throw the towel in?
He was going to stop the fight, and I pleaded with him because I'm a boxer. There's a lot of pride involved, and I was like, please, I'm taking his shots. Yeah, and he let me go out for round 9, and if anything, he let me go out from my pride and stuff, and I was kind of defenceless at the time because I couldn't do anything. So it's like a lamb to the slaughter. But about 30 seconds later, he kind of I couldn't do anything. I was just surviving, and he threw the towel in.
You must be really proud of yourself that you went back for that final round.
To be honest, looking back, I think I exceeded everyone's expectations of me, and I did very, very well in the fight. I don't think I can be proud of losing, but I can be proud of
the attitude.
What I did, the attitude, and how I kind of showed myself off to the world. That's it, and it was I'm the only fighter from my area to fight in America, professional fight in America. Firstly, I fought in LA in the March 22, and then I headlined in Texas in the August, and it just. I'm very proud of my achievements in the sport.
You should be.
Obviously 10 years worth, but I'd like to say there's a lot more to come for me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's exciting though, isn't it?
And the way I see it is people think, what do you mean there's a lot more to come? You're 30, you've been a pro 10 years, but every training camp, preparations for every fight that I have, I'm hitting PBs, and I feel like I'm still getting better. So,
and especially if your knockouts have come later in your career,
that's
you're
it.
kind of riding on a high from that. Don't you tend to go to like New York and places like that to train as well? So not for fights necessarily, but to immerse yourself in like new worlds, new people to spar against.
It's been like that since I was young,
really?
to be honest. We've actually just got back from New York.
Oh,
Me and my dad, we got back last week.
Yeah.
Me and my dad and a young fighter from over the Isle of Wight came with us as well, to have it tough. So my dad's thought process is give it to me tough. I was being out of my comfort zone, and it's been like that since I was young. I remember being 17 years old and travelling by coach up north to go and spar with pros. My dad's sending me on my own, and I'm there for a week's like training and having it hard. Like, it used to always happen, and he's kind of a few times lately he's come with me, but like as I was on my way up in my pro career, he sent me to. I've been to Philadelphia and New Jersey on my own. Tough that was. I've been to Spain a few times, Bilbao, Rome. He's just sent me like out of my comfort zones because that's where the development happens for me. And so we like to get away. I don't think there's a preparation for any fight nowadays where I spend it all in Portsmouth.
Right.
In Portsmouth, I'm in my comfort zone.
I suppose actually, like you say, if you're in your comfort zone, that can become complacent maybe. So better to kind of like branch out, think outside the box.
That's it. There's a lot of people that I don't think could walk a day in my shoes because mentally you got to be a strong person to like, for example, we just got back from New York. We were staying in East Brooklyn. We weren't staying in Manhattan with all the tourists. We were staying in the rough areas of Brooklyn and going to gyms where you had to really earn respect and stuff. And I thrive off stuff like that.
Okay.
You know,
and does it give it that like fresh thing of like proving yourself? That fresh pressure of like, right, I'm walking in and I've got to show them how it's done, show them who I am.
That's it. And like even in like later days than that now, some of the times the boxers knew who I was, and they're like young, fresh, up and coming boxers that
they want to show themselves as well. Right, okay.
And tough gyms, and you know these fighters that I'm sparring, these young lads, they've all got it hard on the outside of the boxing gym. You know, so
there's no like privilege that comes with a lot of it. Have you ever seen someone and gone, they're going to be amazing?
Yeah, there's a lot of I've sparred many fighters over the years, and I've gone to a lot of places, and there's fighters that people won't ever probably hear of, and they probably don't ever become as successful for luck and opportunities, but are unbelievable fighters.
And do you think maybe that's because they don't have the support that you've had from like your family and obviously your dad? I
think from the boxing world, so it's very hard to get opportunities. It's like if the shoe don't fit type thing.
Okay.
It's a cruel sport for business sometimes. And for me, I had to wait on the outside for a long time before my opportunity.
Yeah, because I suppose even with like sponsorship and management and stuff, people can pick you up but then drop you, and then that can change the landscape. When
it comes to sponsorship, right, I'll tell you a story. So I quit work. Quit work in a 9-to-5. Christmas 2017.
Right, okay.
Without the backing for no sponsorship. I had a 1-year-old daughter at the time.
Wow.
I'd won my first 2 title fights in 2017. Having to wake up before work, train, go to work all day, train, get back home, not even see my daughter kind of thing. That was a hard year for me, and then I came into work after my second title win. So I won the title win last time I boxed in Portsmouth on a Saturday. Went into work. I was working in like a marketing office at the time, and to an email, disciplinary hearing the following day, because the last couple of days when I was making weight and like getting ready for the fight, I was just doing bare minimum. Only a couple of days, but they wanted to really knuckle down on me, and I went home that night and thought, wow, what am I doing? Like,
that's so unsupportive though, isn't it?
Yeah, very. It's crazy how it comes round in circles, because they actually helped me have a little bit of sponsorship a few years after. It's weird.
That's brilliant.
But
now they want to know you.
But I went into work the next day and went, I'm handed in my notice, you won't see me again after
Before
Christmas.
you went into the disciplinary meeting?
literally as I walked in, I handed my notes in, so we didn't need it.
We
didn't need it. And then I worked up to the Christmas, and then I was thinking, I've got zero money now.
Yeah.
I've got a 1-year-old. Like, bear in mind, at this point, I don't live at home with parents.
Yeah.
So
you're a grown ass man.
yeah, so I was like, oh no, what's going to happen? And I had a meeting with a local, like a car dealership kind of thing, quite a big one, in the January, and I was just hoping on that. And it was only like, I think, £500 a month, but I thought, right, that is towards my bills, great.
Yeah, and mentality-wise, that would give you the boost to push them further.
Yeah, so it hit the January and I got that, and then I was doing like a bit of like PT to like earn a bit of money as well, but essentially I was a full-time boxer then, so great. But relying on that sponsorship, and then the guy called me up. It was like, I knew the guy's son. It was the guy's son who sorted it. It's like, they want to go with a charity this month, and this was the day before they was meant to pay me.
Oh no.
And it was 2 days before my bills was going to come out.
Oh no, that's brutal.
Yeah, and I thought, wow, what's going to happen? Like, so luckily my little brother went full time before me.
Wow, Lucas.
So a friend of my dad, like, right place, right time.
Yeah.
Like a really like successful company. HSBM, big shout out to HSBM. So I messaged him like, I'm really stuck. The guy, like, I don't know what to do. And he said, listen, we'll help you out for 6 months.
Wow.
I was like, just off that text, I was like, great. That 6 months has turned into 5 years.
Wow.
And they're really the backbone of not just my career, my brother's career, and life.
Wow.
And
is that because there's somebody within the business that adores boxing?
Yeah,
and believes in what the two of you are trying to achieve?
They're real Pompey people.
That
like to get beyond their own. Over the years, we've built a real good relationship.
Yeah.
They trust the journey.
Yeah.
They love being on the journey.
Yeah. Do they go and watch the fights?
Yeah, I remember. I remember when I boxed, I got signed to Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, and I boxed in his back garden, and I remember my sponsors being able to. It was times like the year after lockdown where it was an outside venue. It was like £750 a ticket, and like they came to support me, and it was great. Like the little things that I do, it makes it all worth it.
Makes it worth it, definitely. And I think that the sponsorship thing is something that I think more businesses should look into and look to support. I know Politely Rebellious have just we've just sponsored under 11s girls football team.
Oh, nice.
Their kits going out to them. Actually, this might go out before they get their kits, but they're probably not watching anyway, so it don't matter. But their new kits for the season, we've just sponsored that, and our logo's on there, and it's that as a business owner to see those girls in those kits with your logo on, like it's a real moment of pride, and just we helped that happen. We helped instill a bit of confidence in them that people believe in them.
That's great, and you're on the journey with them now, you know, like
it's cute.
not just like what they do in the football team and stuff. You're a part of them.
Yeah, like that mentality on the pitch and off the pitch.
Yeah, that's it.
And how that is. So you're obviously born and bred Pompey. Yeah. To Michael Senior,
that's it.
Who's daddy to seven? Is he 7 kids he's got now? Is it?
Yeah. 7 kids. But I think he's hopefully retired. He's got he's got 3 grandchildren.
Has he?
But he's actually got 2 grandchildren older than his youngest daughter.
That's fantastic. What a legend. What a legend.
I don't see it that
way. No. You're like, stop, Dad.
I was telling them to stop a long time ago.
Yeah. But so you and Lucas.
Yeah, so we're the oldest. Yeah. I'm the oldest. My dad had me, I think he was like 19 or 20. Yeah. And kind of from a very young age, I was going to be a boxer, whether I liked it or not.
Right, okay.
Kind of thing. I was like, it was kind of ingrained in me for real young.
The moment you could walk.
Yeah, I was probably in my boxing stance like the same year I started walking. Do you know what I mean? I think
you've sent us a couple of pictures actually, which we'll show you guys, of you in boxing gloves and stuff when you were super small, like way before you were getting in the ring, like you say, at 14, 15 with the pros.
Yeah.
What school did you go to?
I went to a few schools. Wow.
Did you? Go on, tell me the story.
Because We started in Portsmouth, then we moved out to Lee Park when I was probably about 5.
Yeah.
Lived there for 10 years in a few different places. So, and then when my mum and dad split up when I was about 14, 15, moved back to Portsmouth, and that's when me and Lucas, we actually lived with my dad.
Right.
And that's when...
Which is good, to be fair. Because,
it was great for us.
You know, that's such a critical age for young guys.
For me at the time as well. Lucas, he was naughty. I was a good boy. He was naughty at school. He was very naughty at school, and kind of like me and him needed my dad kind of thing. And so it was us three living together, me, my dad and my brother, and that's when boxing really hit serious. So bear in mind, I'm 14, 15. We didn't have the average childhood like most kids. Imagine before school, right? Imagine before school, your dad waking you up to go on a run. We were either going on runs before school, or going swimming before school, because at the time we lived near Mountbatten Centre. And then we'd get home from school, eat, go to the boxing gym. That was our life. We didn't do you know
and then from your dad's perspective, so that's hard on you obviously as kids, like hard in a good way, that you're getting that discipline, you're getting that, you know, that sportsmanship ingrained in you that you need. But then when you're off to school, your dad's going off to work as well, right?
Yeah, sure.
So he's working, like he's a grafter, isn't he?
That's it. To be fair, it was always me, out of me and Lucas, it was always me. Lucas actually joined the bandwagon a bit later. He wasn't so much forced as much as I was. He obviously seen his brother boxing, and he came along. I always say it was a bit more hard on me, to be honest.
Yeah, but then I wonder if that's like subconscious or conscious thought of your dad's, where he's like, if I can make Michael be this way, Lucas will follow in his footsteps.
Which he has, really. But as a kid, there was a few times I really resented the whole thing of your dad being a boxer and you have to box. And then it kind of, over the years, I remember one time I was probably only about 13, 14, I said, I don't want to do this. My mates are going to play football after school. He said, don't do it then. About 2 weeks later, I was seeing him doing pads with my brother, and I was like, Dad, I want to do that. So however much I resented it, I always wanted to be the boxer. And looking back at it now, okay, we didn't have the normal childhood that other kids have, the fun childhood, but I'm so grateful that we had that, because
look at you now.
Look at now, the discipline that's ingrained into us, the morals, the respect. Like, if we didn't have that, would I be as successful as I am now and be achieving things? So I'm very lucky.
It's too easy to go off the rails, I think. You know, Portsmouth, I'm Pompey born and bred, same as yourself, and it's a great city to live in, you know, and there's so much opportunity, but it is easy to find yourself going off the rails and being distracted by, you know, the dramas and the antics of other people.
I'm not saying I've always
that
been
routine.
I'm not saying I've always been a saint, because there's been times I've got into fights when I was younger and things like that. But if I didn't have boxing,
imagine.
Like nowadays, with my success, I like to carry myself very well, because there's always somebody watching you, so that's why you've nowadays.
Like the next generation, you mean?
Sure, there's a lot of people who look up to me. Especially over the last probably 5 years, when a lot of my success has come. There's always somebody who's like, Michael McKinson in my city. So it's very rare you'll see me drunk. It's very rare especially around people that's going to know me. It's very rare that you'll see me in any type of... That's why I don't really like to socialise. I socialise with my girlfriend.
It's too risky. I must admit, I was doing a bit of stalking, as you do. I have to, it's part of my job. And you and your girlfriend is so freaking adorable on the TikToks.
Oh, you've seen my TikToks now.
Cute. But what I gathered from it, not going to lie, is that you're the one pushing the TikToks, not her. Is that the right way of looking at it? She's like... Another one, Michael, another one. And you're like, come on.
Most of them are like nice holidays and things like that.
Lovely, yeah. How long have you been together?
We've only been together, I don't get it wrong, less than 2 years. We got the January last year, so 18, 19.
No, that's not that long, is it? But
not
you'd think, looking from an outsider, that you've been together and you seem, you know, like a really lush match.
Like, bear in mind, I've been training for a fight since May, which means I've been dieting since May. So she's probably bored to death of weighing my food and making my diet food. She weighs it, makes it, prepares it. she's bored to death. But no, she's a good girl for doing that. You know.
Yeah, and it takes that commitment from a partner, you know, to get you to where you need to be.
That's it.
What is it they say, behind every successful man is a strong woman?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it makes it that little bit easier, right? When you've got that person by your side.
Yeah, I'll get in from the gym and there's a bath run, there's dinner on the table, so it's pretty
What's
sad.
her name?
Brooke.
Yeah. Well done, Brooke. Keep on, girl. We'll see a stoning coming at some point.
Oh wow.
And your little girl, obviously you mentioned you became a dad.
Yeah, 7.
How old is she now?
She's 7, 8 in December.
Did that change your perception when it came to your career?
Yeah, so the story was I was 10-0, so I won my first 10 fights, not earning no money.
Wow.
Because I couldn't sell tickets. Back then you had to sell tickets, you had to be popular. Got to 10-0 and I said to my dad, I actually boxed the day before she was born.
Wow.
Like, went up the hospital the same night I boxed and then she was born the following day. But yeah, so I said to my dad, I'm 10-0, I've not earned any money, like what's going on? He went, listen, stay in the gym. We'll take opportunities. And she was born the following day, and that was just before Christmas as well. So all over Christmas, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't eating.
Focused.
I was just being a new dad in training. That's all I was doing. And then the call came in January. It was like somebody up there was listening to me. The call came and you're fighting for the WBC youth title in however many weeks.
Wow.
Boom, straight to work. That was back when I was working and a new dad as well. That was tough.
It's like you put something out into the universe and it kind of comes in. You've got to trust the process. Something I say, like trust the process. And having your dad there, obviously supporting you along the way telling you to trust that process. And it's obviously, paid off and continuing to pay off.
Yeah, back then it was the first time I earned any money for boxing. I was underdog. The guy was. We remembered each other from when we were younger because he was like one of the best lads my age as an amateur.
Right.
So he kind of thought he was going to walk through me.
Yeah. And little did he know.
And I went to his hometown of Swindon and beat him. Like really, really done a good job on him beating him. And I remember it wasn't a lot of money, but I remember thinking, I've just been paid to box. Wow. Looking back at it, God, it's no money at all. But like I remember, you
were on the path.
Yeah, I was 22 years old, won my first title, and bear in mind, I was an amateur boxer for years. I've never won a title as an amateur.
Wow.
So that was my first title, amateur or pro, and it was a very special night for me. And my daughter was a couple of months old at that point, but for the first couple of months, I'd hardly see her. I see her at home when she was asleep. Or on the weekends, but I was training.
Missing moments. Would you ever encourage her to box?
No.
She's too pretty.
I'd never encourage her to box. I'd never encourage her to watch me.
Really?
And that's just, it's a tough sport. Like, if I knew half the stuff when I was younger about the business side of boxing now, probably wouldn't have become a boxer. It's just
because of the roller coaster of it. Because
the business side sucks a little bit as well. Like
what with getting the sponsorship.
No, not so much the sponsorship. It more getting the fights and getting what you deserve and getting the opportunities and stuff. It kind of sucks.
The recognition.
You kind of have to wait a long time, and if it comes, there's lots of great fighters out there that don't ever get a great opportunity and don't ever get the success they should. So,
is there an issue with? Obviously, you've reached a level of, greatness, amazing, wins that you've had. And is it that you get to a point where who is there to fight? If people aren't as dedicated as you are in that welterweight arena, then who is there to fight, kind of thing,
Yeah, like I see myself as, although the Boxing News ranked me as #1 in Britain, so I'm the UK's best.
Yeah.
But
you say that so nonchalant.
Yeah.
Just like, you're not arrogant.
No, do you know what it is? I've been saying it for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's all other fighters and I'm like, who's done what I've done kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I genuinely believe I'm the best in the UK. There's loads of great fighters in my weight class and it's very competitive. But
like credit where credit's due,
yeah,
but at the end of the day,
I'm
up here, mate. I'm at #1, 26 wins. How does it feel when you knock someone out? Like, what's the first thing that goes through your head?
Do you know what? I went about 5-6 years without knocking anyone out. Like, I haven't had a lot of knockouts in my career. And then we went to Italy last March, and I boxed a guy who had 13 fights, 12 wins, and like 11 KOs or something like that. Like really loads of knockouts from Brazil.
Hardcore,
From Brazil, we got to the weigh-in, and he had a better body than me. And like anyway, got in the fight. I was just a little bit too good for him, and I ended up knocking him out. And I remember thinking, has that just happened? I've not had a knockout in years.
Or have you been knocked out in your dream in it?
Yeah,
like, what's going on?
I know. And like, yeah, like, I'm known as a non-puncher, and old McKinson can't punch, and he's got pillow fists. But I've had all of them over the years. Like people trying to. That's the one thing that they can say about me is, oh, he's not got a lot of knockouts. But so last year, I went into the year with a mission to okay. I'm down a couple of levels because I'm lost in Texas, so I've had to box a couple of levels lower now. I'm going in with a mission to knock people out, and I did. 2 out of 3 fights last year I knocked out. 2 in a row.
What did you do to achieve that? Did you change the way you were training, or was it more of a thought process?
My S&C program over probably the last 2 years, maybe a bit more, has been solid. That's one thing that's consistent all year round. A good team behind me to thank for that. And look, we're all, like I said earlier, we're always growing, getting better and better in my S&C. I've always been very strong. I just haven't had to show it. So it's just a case of, like, now I can try and show it. And now I could take risks and like put a couple of doubts to bed, kind of thing. And I've proven I did that. I've always got the brain and the good IQ and the skills to beat people, but now I can show
that you've got the fists to go with it as well. 100%. No, I love that. And I know that we're going to be getting Lucas on at some point in the series. He is booked in, so I'm looking forward to that. How does it feel seeing your younger brother box and reaching levels of awesomeness as well?
No, what? I'm probably his biggest fan.
Oh,
yeah, and over the years when we were younger, I used to beat him up. Big brother, we used to spar. We lived together. My dad used to leave, and I'd come back to both of us sparring. And he was really small. He was really small till he was about 16.
Right.
And I used to take a lot of liberties on him being a big brother. And then over the years as a pro,
I need to practice. Just stand there and take it.
Over the years as a pro, I know there's people that probably won't believe it, but people that know Lucas know what he's like in the gym. Will believe it, but in sparring, he beats me up.
Oh,
now.
really?
Oh, wow. I've took a few items off of him over the last year.
Proud.
Not at the time. No. Not at the time, but like, you've seen me go to America, win these titles and stuff, and he's kind of didn't have any opportunities for ages, and like, I didn't feel guilty of what I was doing, but I wanted him to have his
experiences.
And then about 18 months ago, 2 years ago, he won the English title. So I was like, great, he's won a title. And then he fought in May for the IBF European title. He moved up in weight to my weight.
Where we'll speak to him about it, I know, but where he had the broken ribs.
Yeah,
and
so
he's still trained.
He had a little. But because
you were about to say he had a little broken wrist.
No, he had a little break in his wrist, and but his mentality, he's waited years. He's been a pro nearly 10 years like me, 9 years.
Wow.
So he's waited so long, and for him to, because he's had big fights pull out in the past, so he was like, I'm keeping this quiet. If people say that, is it hurting you? Like, you could tell it was hurting him in the camp.
Yeah.
And he was just like, no, it doesn't hurt. It don't hurt, because he didn't want to pull out. Got to the fight, and he was a 3-1 underdog, I think, and I put some money on him. I didn't tell him until after. And he went out there, like, bear in mind, he was an underdog, no one expected him. We knew how good he is, and he put a great shift in, and he got the win. And you see, there's a picture, I don't know if you've seen it on his Facebook, or I'm there cuddling him, I'm the first one cuddling him. So I'm really happy that he's getting stuff for his own now, and
because he's been seen for
he's always been as good. He's always been as good. And like, although when we were younger, I was always the dedicated one. Wow, when he's trains for a fight now, but he knows more about nutrition than me. He's a know-it-all though, so when it comes to our nutrition, I like to be told what to do, and I stick to it like glue.
Yeah.
He likes to know everything.
Okay. So where you've helped him out with learning how to probably defend himself when he's getting punched, he's helped you out with the nutrition and stuff, right?
Yeah, I always actually message him for a little. I've got a great nutritionist, but like little bits of advice as well. I'm like, Luke, what about this? When you cut weight, what about this? So yeah.
Because you have to be so strict, right? So you're both in that welterweight, so that's obviously based on weight.
Yeah.
And so if you come in below or above, game's over. Fight's cancelled. Is that how it works?
Come in even a pound, half a pound up. If it's a title fight, you'll have to make. So
you've got to watch not just the food you're taking in, but the liquids and stuff as well.
Yeah, so
the air you're breathing.
Do you know what's just as tough?
Don't go to London before.
No, you know when you're making weight and you make the weight and you're down in your skin and bone and you're ripped, ready to go, and then the following night's the fight. The most important bit is rehydration from the weigh-in to the fight. If you ruin that, you're doomed. That's very, very like a important thing to do, right?
It's incredible how much science goes into it, right?
Listen, any person in sport, especially combat sports and sports because what I'm used to, any young fighter that even watches this, educate yourselves in nutrition or find somebody to do it for you because that is so important. And like, it's crazy. If you think a few generations before me, there was no nutrition in boxing. It's actually mad.
Yeah, that is crazy, isn't it?
It's only come alive like the last probably 10 years.
And it's such an important part. I mean, my hubby's a personal trainer and wellbeing practitioner, also nutritionist, and he's always talking about it.
Very
and
important.
The amount of people who he has trained over the years because they want to do it for their mental health, or they just want to make sure that they're moving. But they don't change their diet in any way, shape, or form. So they might drop a bit of weight, but they'll always still be bigger because they just don't get the importance of the nutrition side and how much difference that can make.
I've got a really, really good nutritionist I've got a great relationship with over the years, Greg Allison. Big shout out, Greg.
Greg.
But I'm so lucky to have him because it's very important.
Yeah, it's a whole job in itself. Yeah. What's your go-to?
When I'm not fighting?
Let's go with both. So what's your go-to when you are fighting?
When I am fighting, I don't really like the breakfast kind of thing, like eating early. Like that's one thing that I have to force in me.
Okay. And is that typical breakfast, or are we talking like chicken?
No, breakfast would be. It changes on the daily, but like when you've got to wake up early and you've got to eat oats and stuff like that, it's a bit for me. I'll get it done. What do I like? I'm a big bread lover, and for
That's
this
a dangerous game to play.
Very,
isn't it?
and he's actually put bread in. Okay, it's not like he's put bread into my
Is it
diet.
like sourdough bread?
Sourdough bread on some mornings. We've got pita breads in some lunches, and to be fair, because he knows me
now
so
we
well.
know why he loves Greg. He's incorporated the bread in a good, manageable way.
He has, and that's what my go-to is. So if there's a few little options for lunch, I'll always pick, if I'm allowed it, pick the pita breads with. So that pretty boring. Asking me what's my go-to. Now let's go out.
Outside.
To be honest, I used to always love pizza. And Brooke don't eat pizza.
Right,
Can you imagine? Like, so I haven't had pizza that much, really.
So when you've got a night away from Brooke, you're sat there with a pizza on your own.
Yeah, another one of like a Portsmouth company that is mine and Brooke's favourite restaurant is Natty's Jerk in near Commercial Road.
Nice.
Now, got a good relationship with them, like really good, but not only do I have a good relationship, that aside, it's actually my favourite food.
Really?
Caribbean food is my favourite food.
Nice.
And to be honest, if Brooke could, she'd eat it every day.
Oh, wowza.
Yeah, so
get yourselves down there, people.
Yeah, so
what's it called again? Natty's?
Natty's Jerk. It's opposite Portsmouth and Southsea train station. It's lovely.
Amazing.
But obviously, when I'm training for a fight, I've got to.
You've got to keep it super clean.
Not as much. I'll go there until
so the minute it's over and you're able to do what you.
To be fair, when I win my next fight, I'm gonna be like, even if he's not open that day, open up. There's a load of us coming down.
Go and check out Natty's by Commercial Roads. Sounds epic. That's where you'll find Michael on his non-training days. Yeah. And Caribbean roots.
Yeah.
Is that heritage?
Yeah. So my grandmother is from Jamaica.
Amazing.
So my dad is half Jamaican.
Yeah.
And there's the McKinson, like the name that I've chosen. That is actually our Jamaican name.
Oh, amazing.
So all over the world, in America, like we was in New York the other week. There's McKinson's in New York.
Wow.
McKinson's in Florida. McKinson in Jamaica.
Have you been to Jamaica?
I've been twice. So the first time I went, me, my dad, and my brother. First little lads holiday.
That must have been absolutely epic.
Yeah, so it was actually, we spent half the trip at a lovely resort, then a little bit of the trip at the family house, because we actually went for my granddad's funeral. Okay. That's the reason he took us.
Right.
But I'd never met anybody, and like, there was lots of people from in America, England, all flew over to like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, met lots of McKinsons all over the world in there. And then we spent half the trip at a resort, and it was unbelievable.
That's incredible.
And then I went the following year with my nan and my cousin and auntie. So I'm lucky enough to have been twice. I think I'm due a trip.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
With Brooke, do it. So I know that you've obviously got this, heritage, and that's part of who you are. And I know that you're just super passionate about Pompey.
Yeah.
I saw your photo shoot recently where you went down to Fratton Park with your belts. What was that like?
So, to be honest, it's not my first photo shoot at Fratton Park. So, when I won my first title, I was due. This was 2021. Even though I've good relationship with Pompey, every so often I'll go down, see the players, and over the years, and then I won my title when my big coming out fight, as they say.
Yeah.
They invited me down for a photo shoot in 2021.
Yeah.
The day after I got back, got in a bit of trouble because you had to self-isolate after, because it was in a different country. I thought, but I wasn't aware. So I was down Fratton Park having the titles with the belts.
Oh, brilliant!
Portsmouth posted it on their Twitter, Pompey FC. Got into a little bit of trouble for it.
From the COVID police?
No, from like the boxing kind of world. So, because I didn't know at the time I had to self-isolate, so I had to kind of take it a little bit.
Between the legs kind of thing.
Head was in the clouds.
Fair enough.
But I've had a few photo shoots, but what it was is, over the years, like, I've won all these belts, and I'd won a belt in December, and I've never had like photos with all of my belts. So
it's a pretty impressive selection, isn't it?
Yeah, and went down, like Pompey always said, come down whenever, like real good relationship. To be fair, they do back me, because when I was out in Texas fighting, Ortiz, my loss for the final eliminator for the world title, Pompey was at home that day, and obviously with the time difference, everyone was messaging me like, they've wished you luck on the tannoys. Like, they've like, unbelievable, it's crazy.
Oh,
and then,
that's so cute.
I remember one time back in 2019, I got invited onto the pitch at half time.
Oh, that's amazing.
That was probably the most nervous I've ever been.
I bet. Didn't you get called up on stage at Tyson Fury's thing recently as well? Yeah,
so that was 2 years ago. I was training up in Middlesbrough at the time.
Yeah.
And he was doing his tour, meet and greet tour, all around the UK, and he was in Middlesbrough. And the guy that I was sparring, Troy Williamson, Middlesbrough lad, he said, we've been invited down to the Furies, come with. And then when we were there, he was like, would you go on stage, you two go on stage,
no pressure.
and be interviewed on stage. Bear in mind, this is a big auditorium.
Yeah, like full.
And if it was Portsmouth, there's a lot of people that know me in Portsmouth, but we were in Middlesbrough.
Oh my goodness.
I was thinking, I was nervous, because I went out, everyone's cheering me, I had an interview on stage. Obviously I met Fury in the green room, and he'd already followed me on Instagram like a few months
before that?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Who have been your influences? Like, who do you kind of aspire to, or kind of look up to, I guess, in that world?
I don't know. When I was a kid, and like everyone's got your idol, your hero.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, it was Prince Nassim.
Yeah.
like
You've met him, haven't you?
No. Like, so I've never met Prince Nassim, and I think I'd probably be a little bit like I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't. I've met lots of like famous big boxers over the years, and I'm not a fanboy type person. I don't get starstruck, but I feel like I would with Az.
Where's he based?
I think he's over in Dubai a lot. But his son's turned pro now. He's fought over, so he is in the UK quite a lot. So I don't know.
We need to make this happen.
Yeah, but he was, as a kid, he's the reason. Like crazy, like
really?
He changed the way the entertainment is of boxing, and he was my hero as a kid.
That's so cute. That's amazing.
And nowadays I get a lot of kind of motivation from. I know there's a lot of people in my city that look up to me. That's motivate. That, do you know what I mean? I like doing big for my city. I like achieving things, because Portsmouth is a small city in the world, and
it really is. Everyone knows everyone, right?
I went to America. They all knew about Portsmouth. They was all asking about Portsmouth. So that makes me proud. Like the successes I've had for this small city is.
And
great.
you always do such incredible shout outs to the city as well. Like I love the way that the language that you use, you know, on your statuses and things like that. It's always like really positive and bringing these belts to the city, and you know, it's it should be shouted about, you know. It's a big old deal.
Proud to be flying the flag. I was flying the flag for a while, but there's some other good fighters as well coming out of the city that's doing a great job, and I think all the light that can be shown on Portsmouth. Great.
Yeah, I agree. Hence this beautiful podcast, right?
That's it.
Who would you say has maybe tried to be a bad influence on you? Has there ever been, you don't need to name drop, but have you ever had like people come into your life who maybe just don't get it and the importance of what you're working towards? Like, actually, I probably need to cut these people out.
Oh, there's a few people, not so much I have to fall out with them, but I've kind of had to
just distance.
Keep at harm's length.
Yeah.
Like lockdown year 2020 when we had no boxing, like gym, I couldn't. They said you can run and you can do home workouts, but let's face it, let's be a realist. I wasn't doing that.
No.
And no motivation in it. I was drinking.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Hanging around with friends when. Do you know what I mean? And it was just the boredom thing and just clinging on to that social life a little bit, and looking back at it, I shouldn't have really, because
but it's like a coping mechanism, right?
Yeah, but little things like that is the reason I don't really socialise much, because I put on loads of weight like, for my job.
It makes it harder for you, right, in the long run?
Yeah, I didn't do anything. It was for me, 2020 was tough for me. Because I had no boxing. Yeah. That got snatched right away from me.
That must have been like a real challenge for your mental health.
Yeah, I would say so, because at the time I didn't think so. I thought, wow, I'm having a great time. I'm seeing my friends, I'm having a drink, this is great. And then I kind of, slowly but surely...
6 months later you're like,
slowly but surely I was looking in the mirror, I was, wow, look at the state. I mean, you're supposed to be up and coming professional boxer. And then I got the phone call. It was when events started happening with no spectators. Not a lot of boxing shows did, but at the time, my management team at the time, they was putting on shows, and they was like, right, you've got 10 weeks to get ready. I looked at myself in the mirror and I thought, wow.
That's going to be a challenge.
Wow. And all of that 10 weeks was literally weight loss. And it was miserable. It was a miserable time to get back to what I was. And I boxed the fight, there was no atmosphere. I boxed the undefeated guy from Scotland. No crowd, so no atmosphere. People just, as soon as you've got like a angry Scotsman trying to
come at you.
Yeah, I dealt with it quite well. But after in the interview, I was like, listen, I'm proud of myself, because you should have seen me a few months ago. I was well out of shape, and kind of people, you can class them as friends, but kind of, you get good friends. You get friends that won't offer you a drink every time you go out, and they're supportive. And then you get idiot friends that
come on, just have a shot. What harm will it do?
But it's good for me. I'm such a strong-minded person. I can be around people that are drinking. Like I spent most of my career, being the one that can't drink. I socialise with my friends every Sunday. But I choose who to socialise with.
You're like strategic about it.
Yeah, and I people don't. I'm a bit of like a geek. I'll go to a quiz night on a Sunday with my friends.
Some local in Pompey. You probably shouldn't say actually. You'll end up with everyone.
No, everyone knows I go there. Everyone knows I go there. But it's not like a pen and paper quiz. It's like the new age quiz. It's it's really good.
Okay.
And big shout out to my quiz master. No, but I've been going for like 6 years.
I love that.
And
how does 26 wins box out?
I know.
Unwind.
But that's how I choose to socialise. Like, a lot of people want to go to the pub on the weekends. I'm in. I don't do that. But on a Sunday, like, that's how I choose to spend my social time with people. Nowadays, rather
And do you win often?
I'm very good.
Are you good? Oh, okay,
people
fair enough.
So out of my group of friends that come, there's a load, we play individually, we don't play as a team, so we play individually. And there is one of my friends that's actually better than me.
Really?
It was always me for years, I was the best.
Okay.
And then he came along last year and he's
smashing it out of the park.
Yeah. But some of my friends are rubbish, they just come just for the social. They'll have a beer,
it's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I guess like if you had those, you had that 10 weeks to get yourself sorted, get yourself into shape. And is that a constant reminder of like, you're never going to do that again because you know what that then felt like? Yeah.
That was a big wake up call to me. So this was in the October, coming out of 2020, and I was like, right, I'm never going to be what I was. So straight away I was running. This was October, all over the Christmas I was running, I was training still, kept myself really light, and then I caught COVID when COVID was a thing. Like I know it's back in that now, but
not in the same way, right?
No, so I caught COVID, and I know people have their opinions of what COVID is and stuff, but the first time, I've been positive a couple of times, but the first time, I was in, people thought it was like the end of the world.
I've never had it, but when my husband first had it, it proper knocked him for six.
Luckily, I was training all beforehand, and then I had to stay in for like 10 days. This was in the January. Like the day I was allowed out in the January, I got a phone call off my manager at the time saying, will you fight live on Sky Sports in 6 weeks' time against Chris Congo, live on Sky Sports? I said yes, running trainers on. The first time I left my house in 10 days, I went for a run, because I was 18 fights undefeated, and I've not fought on TV yet. I was waiting for that opportunity.
Big
so if I was to say no, I probably would have never got the opportunity again. So
COVID was not going to stop you.
No, and because I kept myself healthy, I didn't have a lot of weight to lose. Although I was ill for 10 days. I literally hit it a million miles an hour, and then luck would have it, they moved the fight back a couple of weeks, so I actually had 9 weeks to prepare, or 8 weeks. And I went out 4-1 underdog, my first kind of on the big lights, Eddie Hearn there, all these big like boxing people, and I kept myself.
What does that feel like? So you had your music and
I came out to the Pompey.
Did you?
I came
my god, that's so
It was in Gibraltar.
COVID
time. It was in Gibraltar, and because not many people know that Gibraltar is a naval town. Portsmouth is a naval town. I actually, all of the local Navy people there, they knew. I had people in Gibraltar that knew me. So there was people outside. We were in a bubble, so we couldn't associate with people. But I had people outside the big boat we were staying on, cheering Michael McKinson. I was like a superstar that week.
That's brilliant. And that was on Sky Sports, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I went there, and although this was my first time on the big stage, cameras, TV, I knew how I was going to act. I waited a long time with how I was going to be. I kept myself to myself the whole week. I kept in my room.
As in you knew how you were going to approach that fight?
Yeah, the whole thing. So I kept myself in my room the whole week. There was Eddie Hearn, Ricky Hatton, all these boxing people on the same ship we were staying on. It was like Sunborn Hotel. And I decided to keep myself to myself. I wasn't being starstruck. I wasn't there to make friends.
You didn't want to distract yourself.
No, so unless it was the press conference, the public work out the way, and people would see me, other than that, I'd be in my room the whole week.
That's some dedication, isn't it? That takes some willpower.
And that was pre-planned before I even left. I knew how I was going to act, and I knew I'd be the underdog, but I didn't want to know the odds.
Yeah.
I didn't want any of my friends to tell me what they're putting on me. I already told them that in the beginning, and I think my mentality on that fight, how it was all worked out how I was going to come. I won the fight before it even happened, and
do you try and maintain that now moving forward? Is that something that you've learned works well for you?
I'm a lot more experienced to be like, well, I don't want to know the odds and things like that now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm
because
very...
it must be quite hard to like not get caught up in all the...
Naturally, I'm not a mentally strong person.
Okay.
I've adapted it in boxing.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you have to kind of put a front on. Yeah, I'm mentally strong.
Yeah.
But I am, and the reason I am mentally strong is because of my hard work.
Yeah.
When it gets to fight day and I haven't cut any corners and I've literally not put a foot wrong. I know them.
You know you're in it. So
but
I know you say about that, and I know you said obviously you met Tyson Fury and he's a massive advocate, you know, of mental health and also just being really open about the struggles that he has personally. When it comes to mental health, do you find yourself like having down times or moments where you're just like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore?
Yeah, it actually sounds so mad, but a training camp's like an intense time before a fight.
Yeah.
When you're training, you're in routine, everything's like the same for 10 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm happier when I'm in training camp, when I'm in routine. When I'm out and when I'm not in that routine,
it feels like a bit chaotic.
I struggle.
Yeah.
I really do struggle, which means kind of I need to start thinking about what's going to happen when I retire, kind of thing. Because it is hard now. Like I fought in December.
Okay.
I was promised things in March, and got to March, nothing happened, and then I was like, wow. I went into the new year flying because I was promised I'd fight in March. Yeah. So I spent 3 months not running this year.
Wow.
I didn't put on loads of weight.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I was really finding it hard, motivated wise.
Right.
So I was still training. My strength work was real good, but the running side, I kind of dipped out on, and kind of, I'm not happy when I'm not got something in front of me.
Yeah, like that goal to work towards. And I think it's like that with a lot of careers, you know. Like whether you're working in a sales job or working as a teacher, you know, you need to have that end point, you know, of what you're working towards. Yeah. And even more so in your career where you're having to be so stringent with, you know, your food, your training, your life in general, 7 days a week. Yeah. It makes sense to need that end goal for sure.
Yeah. I kind of need to be in routine, I think, because I do struggle without it. Yeah, I do struggle without it.
But it's a good thing to recognise, isn't it? Yeah. So do you, when you're not in that deep, intense training camp mode, do you try to make sure with the help of like your coach and your manager and your partner that you stick to some form of routine? Yeah,
so luckily I know I have sponsorship to train full time. Yeah. So I can't be not training at all. Yeah. Like, I know how lucky I am to have that support.
Be in that position.
So I don't take that for granted. Yeah. So all year, I know my strength work's solid. I'm in the gym, whether I'm fit or I'm not, I'm in the gym all year round. Yeah. It just, the motivated to get out and run was tough. So then my fitness dropped and stuff like that. It's just...
It's so intricate, isn't it? There's so much more that goes into it. You know, that as an outsider, there's just so much. I mean, as an outsider, you know that it takes dedication to be an athlete in any field.
There's also worries. There's also worries as well because I've got sponsorship for my boxing. Yeah. I know these sponsors could go, and I imagine if they go, then I'm in real big trouble. Yeah. So that's another worry on my head all of the time. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a constant gamble kind of thing, isn't it? It's like
I need to be fighting for not just me, other people. They're supporting me.
Yeah, it's that kind of the different pressures.
But the business sort of people that source the business, they don't know about that. Yeah. They don't know that like I've got sponsors to rely on. Yeah,
it's good though, and you're doing awesome. 26 wins. That's just nuts, isn't that? That's incredible. The what would you say is the most politely rebellious thing you've ever done? I would say probably everything you do is politely rebellious, right? Because you're fighting and you're knocking people the F out, but within the within the
boxing,
constrictions of and the rules and regulations of boxing.
My
right?
life is politely rebellious, isn't it?
Exactly. The epitome, the king,
the
OG.
I get to beat people up without getting in trouble.
Yeah. The ultimate.
And that's another thing.
Rebel.
Over the years, imagine all these young lads that are getting into fights, and even boxers are getting into. What's the point of fighting?
Yeah.
For free.
Yeah, right.
For free.
I know, it's all these stupid, and I don't really want to go into it because it's a nightmare, isn't it? But all these protests and stuff recently, if you can call them that, and all these idiots who think they can fight, love a tinny and a amber leaf roll up.
There's people just doing it for an excuse, and more than the meaning of it.
Just what's the point?
Yeah.
It's absolutely nuts. So I'm gonna round us up with some quick fire questions.
I'm not very good at this one.
Right. Well, don't worry. They're not. They'll probably be easier than the quiz questions.
Right.
So, ham or cheese?
Cheese.
All day long. What's your favourite cheese?
Camembert.
Camembert.
With loads of bread. I'm a sucker.
Have you had it with sweet chilli sauce?
Sweet chilli?
No. It's life changing. So put sweet chilli sauce on the top. So do this with a knife or whatever. Bit of sweet chilli sauce. Put it in the oven. Life changing. Trust me. Let me know.
I'll get back to you on that one.
Let me know when you've tried it. America or Asia?
I've been to Asia. I've been to Dubai twice, but I would love to go to Japan.
Tokyo's amazing.
I would love to. I do really love America. So when it comes to America, I've spent my 30th in Vegas, just after my 30th, 14 of us. I don't like any other holidays than America.
Okay. It's become like a second home to you.
Until we go to Japan, which is definitely on our bucket list.
Okay. As a fighter or for fun?
For fun. But America, boxing or vacation.
Nice. I love it. Blue or green?
Blue.
Blue. Pompey
Always.
Push-ups or sit-ups?
Sit-ups.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't really know why.
If someone says do 100 of one or the other, you're going for sit-ups.
My dad had us doing a press-up exercise
really?
a few days ago, and my arms are still so sore. Yeah.
The DOMs are real.
Yeah, the DOMs are.
Now, my husband says that this is a stupid question. I asked him about this morning, and he was like, the answer's obvious, which, maybe I'm naive and it is, but would you rather win by knockout or by decision?
Yeah. For me, knockout. And don't get me wrong, I know that there's a boxing purist, but I do it on the casuals. Now, it's not so much me. I'll win whichever way's easiest.
Yeah, yeah. Let's just get to it.
For people that are coming to watch me, and I'm experienced enough now to understand this.
Right.
Casuals, the everyday person, they don't come and pay their money to watch a point swing.
Okay.
They pay to watch a knockout.
The big knockout.
And obviously I haven't been great at that over the years.
Yeah.
I've always really appreciated my boxing, but we go knockout.
Go knockout.
It's not that much of an easy question, to be honest.
Okay, well, I'm glad I put it in there then. Yeah. Good. I'm glad.
It's a layered question.
Okay, yeah. Peel back the layers. And so what does the future hold for you? I know that you mentioned earlier about, not necessarily like a deep dark fear, but what comes after boxing. Do you think you're going to be coaching and managing other boxers?
I think whatever I do involves boxing, I think, for the rest of my life. Whether I want that or not, I think it's the only thing I know. I know boxing kind of.
Inside out.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And I would love to be on the other side of the ropes doing something in boxing, helping people, whether it be kids, whether it be the next generation of pros, whether it be helping my dad.
How long do you think you'll continue to fight for? What's the goal?
I don't know, everyone boxes different. It depends, I'm a defensive boxer, I use my brain a little bit more, which they say, you box like how I box.
Got more longevity.
Yeah, depends how much I love the sport.
Yeah.
There might be a day I fall out of love with boxing, and then I don't want to be fighting for money.
Yeah.
You know?
And do it because you love it.
Yeah, I want to still have my brain cells. I want to still
be able to talk.
Things like that. I want to still enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know? Imagine the people that box for too long.
Yeah.
And you see a real good fighter. There's been many growing up people that used to be amazing you watch on TV and they're getting beat by people that they shouldn't.
Yeah.
So,
are there any fights coming up as an outsider, as a spectator, that you're looking forward to seeing?
we're going, like me, Brooke, and another friend of mine, we're going to the AJ fight next month.
Nice.
AJ aside, the card from top to bottom's great.
Have you met him?
No, I've not met Tyson. Well, I've met Tyson Fury. I've not met
isn't
him.
he?
Yeah.
Is he fighting?
He's
Fury?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say.
That's the one everyone's
I
waiting
know,
for.
right? Do you think it will happen?
Thing is, Fury just took a loss against Usyk now, so he's lost. But Usyk beat Joshua twice, so Fury's got to have a rematch with Usyk, and then if he wins that, then it lines up the Joshua fight. And if it doesn't happen, then it won't.
It's never going to happen. No.
But that's a good fight. There's loads of fights happening. Like boxing's a great time. Obviously, the Turkey, His Excellency, the Sheikh from Saudi, is putting on amazing, like changing the sport of boxing.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, changing the sport of boxing. So he's doing great. But yeah, boxing is a good time to be in boxing. I just want 100%. To be involved.
I know, and keep being involved and keep representing Pompey the way you are, mate. Like, we couldn't be more proud. The whole city is behind you. So yeah, keep up the hard work, and thank you so much for coming in today.
That's all right. Hey, I'm sorry I was late.
Appreciate it. It was
my...
only 7 minutes late.
It's just the traffic was terrible.
Yeah, no, I massively appreciate it, mate.
That's
and
all right.
Thanks for sharing some of your journey with us.
Thanks for having me on. It's been good to speak.
And then this morning I went down to make myself a cup of tea and I couldn't remember the word welterweight. But I didn't want to Google it because I had to trust that it was in there. And then halfway through my cup of tea I was like, welterweight, yes!
I'm doing well, yeah. I think, I haven't got a fight date just yet.
Shit.
We start again?
Microphones.
I can take my...
What
when
a
you start, I was
dickhead.
thinking, I want to take my jacket off.
What an absolute twat. Right, just ping that wherever you want, kind of. Oh my god, Leah, sorry. I just completely lost my train of thought. Matties. Oh my god. I hate when that happens. I've got this photo.
I know. I'm sure Leah can do a great job.
She will. She'll put it into the bloopers, that's what she does to me. And then you see the bloopers of me being like, ah! Natty's food, back into it. Oh my god, where was I going?